husband fakes death from heart attack and elopes with sister-in-law. The day he came back, I caught him before he went into the crematorium. My husband, Leon Ronald, died suddenly of a heart attack. By the time I arrived at the crematorium, he had already been pushed into the incinerator. Before I could even arrange a funeral, the loan sharks were knocking at my door. It turned out the company's finances had been in a dire state for a long time, barely kept afloat by high-interest loans, with the company on the verge of bankruptcy. My brother Madison Wills and I were working 3 jobs each just to try and keep up with the debt. Then Madison was beaten to death by debt collectors, leaving me to shoulder the entire burden alone. One day, while washing dishes at a hotel, I saw my supposedly dead husband celebrating his wedding anniversary with Rachel Tate, my brother's wife, and to add insult to injury, Rachel's child was calling my husband Dad for. I confronted them in rage, but these 2 despicable lovers shoved me into a pot of boiling oil, mercilessly stabbing my head with a fork. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back on the day Leon had his heart attack. A piercing pain shot through me. I cried out and abruptly opened my eyes. I was standing on a busy street and people bustled around me. Her car sped past the driver, leaning out the window and yelling, "What the hell are you trying to get yourself killed?" His words snapped me back to reality. I pulled out my phone and my heart skipped a beat. I had traveled back in time to the day Leon faked his death. Thank God he had given me a second chance in my past life. I was shopping when I received the news of Leon's death from a heart attack. By the time I rushed to the crematorium, his body had already been sent into the incinerator, but now my phone was still silent. I hurried back to my car. A mature-looking man sat in the passenger seat, acting like a child as he licked his ice cream cone with intense concentration. He grinned when he saw me. "Bella, you're back." He was my brother, Madison. Due to an intellectual disability, his mental capacity remained that of a young child. Because of this, before my father passed away, he entrusted his company not to Madison but to me. However, in my past life, I was utterly consumed by love. My entire world revolved around Leon, and I refused even to consider working. And so Leon took over my father's company, and I became a stay-at-home wife. But I never could have imagined that Leon was a truly despicable man. He embezzled the company's assets and took out huge loans in the company's name. He even had an affair with Rachel, and they faked his death together to escape the debt. Naturally, the responsibility for repaying those debts fell on Madison and me. With the mind of a child, Madison was never suited for work. He was bullied relentlessly and eventually beaten to death by debt collectors. "Bella, I have another ice cream, you can have it." Madison held up a half-melted ice cream cone, offering it to me. He stretched his arm out further, worried I couldn't reach it. Looking at his innocent, carefree expression, the image of him lying broken and bloodied in a pool of his blood flashed through my mind. My heart ached. "Madison, I will protect our home." On my way to the hospital, I got a call. "Bella, come to the hospital quick, Leon. He had a sudden heart attack and died." It was Rachel, Madison's wife, the same Rachel who was having an affair with my husband Leon. I feigned panic. "What, Rachel? Don't worry, I'll be right there." I hung up the phone, floored the gas pedal, and sped all the way to the hospital. Seeing me arrive so quickly, Rachel was clearly taken aback, but she quickly put on a mournful expression. "Bella, you have to pull yourself together. Don't be too sad, so Leon can rest in peace." I pushed her aside, tears instantly streamed down my face, and I wailed in a high-pitched voice, "Honey, how could you just leave like this? How could you bear to leave me?" I yanked the white sheet off and threw myself onto Leon's body, and my tears and snot smeared all over his face. "Honey, wake up and look at me again, okay?" I slapped his face left and right, my freshly manicured 197-inch long nails leaving several bloody marks. "Honey, open your eyes and look at me."